Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we are still busy with the chapters. We are busy with the chapters with regards to Tahara. And today we look at the chapter Babu Tayammumi. The chapter with regards to Tayammum. Tayammum is basically what we would term as the dry ablution. Dry ablution. So it is a substitute for both wudu and ghusl. When a person needs a ghusl, it can be a substitute for ghusl. And when a person needs wudu, it could be a substitute. It is a substitute for wudu also. So in this chapter, what we will look at is the difference of opinion with regards to the number of times to strike the ground when making tayammum, and also the extent to which one should cover in tayammum. Babu tayammumi, the chapter with regards to tayammum. Al-Fasl al-Awwalu, the first chapter. عن حذيفة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فضلنا على الناس بثلاث. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that we've been granted virtue over others with three things. جُعِلَتْ صُفُوفُنَا كَصُفُوفِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ, that our sufuf is like the sufuf of the angels. So where is this? Where are the two instances when we stand in rows? Salah is one, and the other is in jihad, on the battlefield. So our lines are like that of the lines of the angels. وَجُعِلَتْ لَنَا الْأَرْضُ كُلُّهَا مَسْجِدًا, and the entire earth has been made a place of salah. So in the previous nations, could only perform salah in the masjid. If you're traveling, you can perform salah on a plane, on a train, in a ship. When we visited China, then there's a glass bridge which was 500 meters high. So I was on the top of that glass bridge. So I decided, let me make 2 rakat salah here. Maybe no one else has performed salah here. And the previous Amir, long before of the Tabligh Jamaat, Hazratji Moulana Inamul Hassan, it's written about him that he was flying from London to Delhi. In that flight, he read 16 paras of the Noble Quran. And he said that as I'm flying through the air, this air is becoming witness of my recitation of the Noble Quran. So positive, that witness to the good deeds, and negative, that places are being witness to the evil that is being committed there. وَجُعِلَتْ تُرْبَتُهَا لَنَا طَهُورًا إِذَا لَمْ نَجِدِ الْمَاءَ. Rawahu Muslim. And the earth has been made as a form of cleansing when we don't have water. So basically, if there's no water within the radius of 1.6 kilometers, or you are confident that there's no water in that area, then you make tayammum. Also, in a case where if you have water, but it's minimum water that you need for drinking, and there's no other water, then too, you will make tayammum, which is the dry form of ablution. وعن عمران رضي الله عنه قال كنا في سفر مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فصلى بالناس. Sayyidina Imran رضي الله عنه says we were with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam on a travel, and فصلى, he performed salah for the people. فلما انتفل من صلاته, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam completed his salah and was turning away, إذ هو برجل مؤتزل لم يصلي مع القوم, there was one man standing one side, sitting one side. He did not perform salah with the people. فقال ما منعك يا فلان. So أن تصلي مع القوم, that what prevented you from performing salah with the people? So he said أصابتني جنابة ولا ماء, that I'm in a state of حدث أكبر, I'm in impure state and there's no water here. So the Nabi said عليك بالصعيد فإنه يكفيك, that turn to the sand because that would suffice for you. So what we learn from this narration is that tayammum can suffice for wudu and it can suffice for ghusl, both, whatever the need be. And when a person has made tayammum for ghusl or tayammum for wudu, now that person is on the same level of tahara, that he is now completely pure, having made the tayammum. Now the next narration takes us to another discussion. So I'm alerting you before we begin the narration as to a difference of opinion that occurs in terms of how many times one would strike the earth. So you strike once and you make masal the entire face to the extent that you'd wash when you are making wudu. And then according to Imam Ahmad, Ishaq bin Rahway and Imam Awza'i, you don't strike again, but rather you go straight onto your arms. And then the other Imams, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, saying that no, you got to strike again and then you do your arms. So that is the difference that comes from this point. عن عمران رضي الله عنه قال جاء رجل إلى عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه فقال إني أجنبت فلم أصب الماء. Sayyidina Imran رضي الله عنه narrates that a man came to Umar bin Khattab and said that I'm in a state of janabat and I don't have water. فقال عمران لعمر أما تذكر أن كنا في سفر أنا وأنت. Imran then said, oh, Umar, do you not remember that we were on a travel, me and you? فأما أنت فلم تصلي. As for you, you did not perform salah. وأما أنا فتمعكت فصليت. And what did I do? I rolled in the sand, thinking that if wudu you wash your face, you make masah of the face. In fact, in tayammum, you make for wudu, you're going to make masah of the face and the arms. So for ghusl, what must you do? Make masah of the whole body. So he says that I rolled in the sand, فصليت, and I performed salah. فذكرت ذلك للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And then I mentioned this to Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال إنما كان يكفيك هكذا. Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم then said it would have sufficed for you to do this. فضرب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بكفي الأرض. Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم put his hand on the earth. ونفخ فيهما. Then he blew off the particles that remained. ثم مسح بهما وجهه وكفيه. Then he did his face and he did his arms. So Imam Ahmad saying, look, this narration states that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam only hit the earth once. That's our proof. Imam Ahmad, Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Shafi is saying, no, this wasn't the hadith to show the method. Rather, this was only to indicate towards something that is called tayammum. The next narration, عن أبي جهيم بن حارث بن سمة رضي الله تعالى قال مررت على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو يبول. So Harith ibn Simma says that I passed Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he was answering the call of nature. فسلمت عليه. I said, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. فلم يرد علي. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not respond. حتى قام إلى جدار. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to a wall. فحته بأصن كانت معه. And then he scratched on the wall little so that the sand came loose. ثم وضع يديه على الجدار. Then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hands on the wall. فمسح وجهه وذراعيه. Then he touched it with his hands and then he wiped it on his face. And then maradda alayya. And then he replied. So here's a number of things come out of here. The tayammum can be made with the intention of performing salah. That is it. And that is the most power for tayammum. But if you have an intention that I'm making tayammum specifically to enter the masjid, only to enter the masjid, then with that tayammum, you can't perform salah. Or a person, there is water, but just say you're running late for the dars, and you decide, let me just make tayammum before entering the dars, so that I'm sitting here in a state of that level of tahara. So that will be fine, but you cannot perform salah with that. So similarly, Nabi Sallallahu wasn't going to make wudu as yet. So to engage in the reply of the salam, which is the form of dhikr, Nabi Sallallahu made a tayammum, so that his response is from a level of tahara. And then the narrator says, وَلَمْ أَجِدْ هذه الرواية في الصحيحين ولا في كتاب الحميدي ولكن ذكره في شرح السنة وقال هذا حديث صحيح. So the narrator saying that he did not find this narration in the Sahihain, nor in the Kitab of Humaydi, but it is in Sharh al-Sunnah, and they've said it is Hadithun Sahihun, and because of that it is placed in the first chapter, which is the chapter of the Sahihain. Al-Fasl al-Thani, the second chapter. عن أبي ذر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الصعيد الطيب وضوء المسلم وإن لم يجد الماء 10 سنين. Sa'id al-Tayyib, pure stand, is wudu al-Muslim. What's the difference between the word wudu and wudu? Wudu and wudu. What is the difference? So wudu is the water that you use for making wudu, or in this case it will be your sand. And wudu is the process of making wudu. So Sa'id al-Tayyib, pure sand, is a means of purification for a Muslim, even if there is no water for 10 years. فإذا وجد الماء فليمسه بشره فإن ذلك خير. But if you find water, then you should use the water, because that is obviously better. So the point here is that 10 years is not specifically 10 years, but as a means of indication of a long period of time. And then as long as the wudu, as long as there's no water, your tayammum remains in place. But the moment you find water, then the tayammum becomes nullified. There is a difference of opinion here. Imam Abu Hanifa says, like wudu, Imam Abu Hanifa says that firstly, Imam Shafi says tayammum is like wudu of a handicapped, in whose case when the hour of salah terminates, then that also becomes invalid. So that is Imam Shafi. Like, you know, when a person is a ma'zur, an excused person, then when the time of salah terminates, that the tayammum also terminates. Imam Abu Hanifa says that no, it's like wudu in the sense that as long as you are in the state of wudu, it will remain intact even if it is for multiple salahs. The next narration, عن جابر رضي الله عنه قال خرجنا في سفر, we went out on a journey, فأصاب رجلا منا حجر فشجه في رأسه. So what happened is, one of the companions, a stone hit him, and as a result, فشجه في رأسه, injured him, made a gash into his head. The word shajja is for gash into the head. فاحتلم, and then he had a wet dream. فسأل أصحابه, so he asked his companions, هل تجدون لي رخصة في التيمم? That, do you find any concession for me to make tayammum? So they said, ما نجد لك رخصة وأنت تقدر على الماء. That no, there's no concession for you. You have water here. There's water present. You can't go to tayammum. So what happened? فاغتسل. The man made a ghusl. فمات. And then he passed away. So, you know, they say that don't ask the person that looks the most pious, ask the man who's the most knowledgeable. فلما قدمنا على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبر بذلك. When they came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, you know what happened to our companion? He got injured, and then he asked there was water. Can I use tayammum? Everyone said, no, you must use the water. And he passed away. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, qataluhu, you will kill him. Qatalahumullah. That, the fact that that you people gave him bad advice, you have a hand in this. So it obviously wasn't in the sense of direct killing, but it was indication of having given him the wrong advice. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, ألا سألوا إذا لم يعلموا فإنما شفاء الأي السؤال. That why did you not ask those who know when you did not know? That if you don't know, then you should ask. فإنما شفاء الأي السؤال. أي is what? Ignorance. السؤال is questioning. When you don't know, you ask. If you ask, that becomes a means of gaining knowledge. And then إنما كان يكفيه أن يتيمم. That what would suffice for him was for him to make tayammum ويؤصب على جرحه خرقة ثم يمسح عليه ويغسل سائر جسده. What would have been sufficient for him is that he ties a bandage on that. And then so now in terms of the different mazhabs, there is a difference of opinion in terms of how do you treat a wound. Anyone has a wound on the body, then according to some, then you must make tayammum over that. Imam Abu Hanifa says that what you do is, the wound, you'll pass a wet hand and make masa over that. You won't make tayammum. It's put here, some of the imams of the opinion that you'll make tayammum over that. So you asiba ala jurhihi khirqatan, put a bandage over it, ثم يمسح عليها ويغسل سائر جسده. And then you will wash his whole body. رواه ابن ماجه. ورواه ابن ماجه عن عطاء بن أبي رباح عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه. So this is the same narration that is found in Ibn Majah. Remember, the second chapter in the Mishkaat has the narrations of the Sunan. Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi, also some from Ibn Majah and sometimes from Nasai. عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال خرج رجلان في سفر. The two people went out on a journey. فحضرت الصلاة. So the time of Salah came. وليس معهما ماء. And they did not have water with them. فَتَيَمَّمَا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا فَصَلَّيَا. They performed salah with the sand, meaning making tayammum. And then فَصَلَّيَا, they performed ثُمَّ وَجَدَ الْمَاءَ فِي الْوَقْتِ. Then they found the water in that salah time. So the question is, do you repeat the salah or is your salah done? فَأَعَادَ أَحَدُهُمَا الصَّلَاةِ بِوُضُوءٍ وَلَمْ يُعِدِ الْآخَرِ. So one of them went and repeated the salah, the other one did not repeat the salah. ثم أتيا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. They came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. فذكر ذلك. They mentioned that we performed salah with tayammum, then we found water, one repeated, one did not. فقال الذي لم يعد أصبت السنة. أصبت السنة وأجزأتك صلاتك. That you had been on the right, you had practiced on the right sunnah, and the fact is that your salah was sufficient for you. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam congratulate him. وقال الذي توضأ وعاد لك الأجر مرتين. For you there is a reward double because you engage in the action twice. The first time you made it without, and the second time without wudu, with tayammum, and the second time you did it again. So the ulama are unanimous that if anyone is offered the salah after making tayammum and finds water, then it's not necessary for him to repeat the salah. But if he observes water while performing the salah, during the salah, then there is a difference of opinion amongst the ulama. According to Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, this is one opinion of that he's in the middle of the salah, then his tayammum breaks. And according to the other opinion, he can still complete his salah because at the time when he started the salah, there was no water available. Al-Fasl al-Thalith, the third chapter. عن أبي جهيم بن حارث بن صمت رضي الله عنه قال أقبل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من نحو بئر جمل. So Abu Juhaym bin Haris ibn Simmata, he says that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came from the well of Bi'ri Jamal, which is a well in Madinatul Munawwarah. فلقيه رجل, someone met him, فسلم عليه, greeted him, فلم يرد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not reply to the greeting. حتى أقبل على الجدار, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam headed towards the wall. فمسح بوجهه ويديه. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made masa with his hands. فمسح بوجهه ويديه. He put his hands on there and then he made masa of his face and his arms. ثم رد عليه السلام, and then he returned the greeting. متفق عليه. وعن عمار بن ياسر رضي الله عنه أنه كان يحدث أنهم تمسحوا وهم مع رسول الله بالصعيد لصلاة الفجر. So Ammar bin Yasir radiallahu anhu narrates that they were with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they made masa tayammum for Salat al-Fajr. فضربوا بأكفهم السعيد ثم مسحوا بوجوههم مسحة واحدة. They struck their hands on the sand and then they made masa of the face. ثم عادوا فضربوا بأكفهم السعيد مرة أخرى. So here's the proof that they struck the ground again and then they made masa of the arms. فمسحوا بأيديهم كلها إلى المناكب والآبات من بطون أيديهم. But they made masa all the way till their shoulders. They didn't stop at the arms, at the elbows. So this takes us to another discussion, which is the opinion of Ishaq bin Rahway. In fact, Imam Zuhri, who says that in tayammum, if a person wants to go all the way till the elbow, he can go. So this is obviously not a common, it's not an opinion within the four mazhabs, but it is an opinion that does exist. So to summarize the chapter that we've looked at tayammum, the ikhtilaf is with regards to, one ikhtilaf is with regards to the number of times to strike the ground. There is one aspect. Another of the ikhtilaf is with regards to the extent to where you'll go, whether you'll go till here or not. There is another, and the other ikhtilaf is when a person during the salah gets finds water, that water becomes available. Does the salah become invalid or the salah does not become invalid? So that brings us to the end of the chapter with regards to the tayammum.